welcome back to Radio Row with Front Office Sports, and I've got Panthers great and now producer Ryan Kalil. Ryan, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So you've got a production company with Blake Griffin. You've gone from being in front of the camera to behind it. Talk to us about that transition to start us off.
Yeah, we've been up and running for a few years now. We produced our first movie with Hulu. We did a remake to White Man Can't Jump, and we did this big sci-fi TV show with Apple TV. So yeah, I feel like a rookie again. Just sort of something we've been working on and planning for a long time. It's what I always wanted to transition into. But yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to it. It's a beast in and of itself. So it went from one really tough industry to get into to another. So we're rolling, and it's been fun.
It is funny, being on Radio Row, such a heavy portion of the people here, former NFL players, are in media in some form or another. They're either broadcasters, they're on-camera talent, they're funding and investing projects. What do you think it is about the pro sports to media and television pipeline?
Well, I like to joke that I've always been in media and arguably one of the highest rated TV shows of all time in the National Football League. Yeah. So I think most athletes would agree that we've always been in entertainment. And so that transition, that crossover, those relationships, I think it's a lot easier for guys because we're around it so much. But yeah, everybody loves sports and we are in front of the camera a lot. And so it seems like a obvious transition.
What kind of projects do you and Blake want to do? And do you look at other companies from athletes? I mean, LeBron has SpringHill, and I know Draymond's gotten into this. There's a number of big name athletes for inspiration or guide on how to make this stuff work.
Yeah, for Blake and I, we really tried to stay under the radar. I mean, when we first sort of came out, we didn't do any PR. We really didn't want it to come across as a vanity project. It was something we were really passionate about. So, I mean, for years in the off seasons, we would put our heads down and just try to meet as many people, just be sponges and really learn as much as we could. And then the other thing was, once we did kind of announce ourselves, we got pitched everything sports in the sun. So we tried to stay away from that to not get pigeonholed. And so we got to do a lot of really cool stuff. And there's stuff we've been in production on for some time, a bunch of stuff in animation. And we're just starting to now move over to unscripted and do more things in the sports arena. And so that's been really fun. And honestly, we've had a lot of guys, athletes, who have admired what we've been able to set up in a short period of time. But it's tough to keep replicating it. It takes a long time. Unlike sports, you have a win or a failure, and it takes years to get back, to do it again. Whereas, you have a loss last week, you get another chance the next week. So that's the tough part, is just trying to find our bandwidth, stacking a lot of projects, because it is hard to get made. It does take a long time. And again, we're still just learning and trying to figure it out.
Let's talk about college football. You're a USC guy. We have written a lot at FOS about the NIL explosion. I mean, this stuff wasn't happening yet when you were playing. And as you look back now at the money and the reports of, $4 million, $5 million for a top quarterback to enter the transfer portal, what do you make of all this? On one hand, obviously, it's like, look, these guys deserve to get paid. On the other, there's almost got to be a ceiling, and it's head spinning now. The dollar figures that you're seeing thrown around for top college prospects to stay and keep playing in college.
Yeah, the money part of it, it doesn't bother me. I think the guys should make what they should make, but I think the repercussions of that are the culture really is affected by it in a negative way. I think I have a lot of empathy for the coaches. I think it's really hard. Most of the college coaches I talk to, it's really hard to set a culture. It's really hard to coach kids the way they want to coach them, because they're so scared of guys jumping in the transfer portal and leaving. So I think, if anything, we should look at how to fix the transfer portal so guys just can't keep jumping and going from school to school. I have no idea about how you structure it, how you do that. I know there's a lot of talk about privatizing college football. I think it's all bananas. I'm having a hard time keeping up, but I think for me now, as a fan and obviously caring about the traditions of the schools, it's not as fun.
And then if coaches complain about it, people say, but look how much money you're making.
Yeah, of course. But I do think there's a genuine sincerity to a lot of coaches who feel like these very impressionable kids coming out of high school need some tough love. I mean, I know I did when I came out, and I know a lot of guys who did, and you're not getting that. And I think it's even trickling down to high school. And so you're having kids who are going up through this system now, and I got to imagine it's a pretty blunt awakening when they get to the pros.
One more USC question for you. Conference realignment. I mean, suddenly you've got USC jumping. You've got 2 California schools in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah.
Is it going to just be a Power 3? Should there be no conferences? Will they all just have brand sponsors because the names no longer make any sense? Big 10, Big 12. It's not 10. It's not 12.
Yeah. I don't know. I grew up in the Pac-10,
Yeah. Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye, RIP. So I mean, from a player standpoint, that sounds awful, traveling to the East Coast all the time. I don't know.
Yeah. NFL. What do you make of the matchup? And especially a lot of fans, I think, okay, it's impressive. We might see a three-peat. It's history. But also there's definitely some Chiefs fatigue.
Yeah. I think I'm in the fatigue boat as well as most of the fans. But listen, I know a lot of the guys on both sides and a lot of great players. So it's, for me, obviously being a longtime Carolina Panthers guy, I mean, you when you get in to games where you're watching and it's not your team, you root for the guys that you like. And, I think fantasy football's done a good job of that too for most people. But yeah, I'll be rooting for individuals in this game.
Ryan, let's end on this. Financial advice for young guys in the league.
Just resist the urge at all costs to buy luxury items. Just invest your money. Make sure you get the right group of people around you that are investing your money conservatively, and you'll never regret it.
Good advice. Not the sexiest, but
no, I mean,
advice.
Listen, it's, I don't know what it is now because a lot of these guys are making money in college. So I don't know. I definitely made a lot of mistakes financially at 24, so I can't imagine these guys at 18 and what they're doing with the money and how they're investing it or not investing it. But yeah, financial literacy is something that it's earned, and for a lot of guys, they're getting big checks right away, and it's hard. And luckily, I had a lot of good people around me who helped me out. I had no clue, and I'm still trying to figure it out. So
smart. Ryan, I don't think we said the name of the production company. Let everyone know.
Mortal Media.
Mortal Media.
Yeah.
Awesome. Ryan Kalil, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.